If it's good enough for Bigfoot, it's good enough for me. Now, as you can see, I'm a bit blurry, and as we know from the late great Mitch Hedberg, well, Bigfoot is blurry. So that means we have something in common, right? And I'm kind of okay with that right now. My camera is a little messed up, as you can see, but I'm not letting that stop me from doing this. I think it almost makes this a little more poetic in its way, because I've seen, especially on YouTube, but also in music, so much of people's early work. If you're lucky enough that your favorite artists, filmmakers, musicians, whatever, still make their early work readily available, that's awesome. You get to see those glimpses of where they started out, how they made do with their very cheap musical equipment, or the busted up old family video camera that they started with, or whatever it was. People making do with what they had, and eventually soaring to great heights, right? Whether it's success in the conventional sense, or whether it's just doing great things creatively. People who made great music, even if their career was short-lived. If you look at Jimi Hendrix, obviously a flame that burned out very early, but did amazing things in the time he had. Go back and listen to earlier work, early recordings, and you can see what people like him, or even people who made it much further, like The Prodigy, Incubus, bands who mustered up such amazing creativity and did amazing things with really high quality studio equipment when they had it. But when they were starting with very little, just in their bedrooms and their garages and whatever, that didn't stop them from making awesomely creative, inspiring work. And I think this is part of the human legacy. We get to look at the lineage, or rather the progression of what artists, and really what anyone pursuing their thing does. Anyone who inspires you, I hope you're lucky enough that they still make their work available, or if you can find it, you can dig and find out what they came up from and what they had to do to work their way up, what they made from what they had. And that's what speaks so well to the human spirit, and what potential it has in it, and how that informs what those of us inspired by it can do. I've been lucky enough to have that come from so many of the people that have inspired me, especially on YouTube. Most content creators still have their first video up, and even those that don't often have some of their early work. You can go back, depending on who you're looking at, you can go back like 10, 11 years to 2008, 2007, 2006. You can still see Vlogbrothers' earliest stuff, and they're doing such amazing things now. You can go back to the beginning and see what they've done, and that can inspire us as content creators, or whatever it is that inspires you. You can look back at the beginning. So here I am, all blurry, and you know what? I've decided that I'm doing some amazing things with people. So, and there's no way that this isn't happening. So long as there's breath in my body, I'm actualizing this vision of fostering community based around the human creative spark, and what that can empower us to do. It's always so hard to sum up, but I know one day people will see this and they'll look back at this and see me all blurry with this busted up phone camera that I can't afford to replace right now. So here I am, just making do with what I have to put a message out, and maybe it'll mean something to someone one day, and with any better luck, you watching will even pass on the torch to someone else. So if this inspires you, even if it's if it's the day after I've recorded this, or if it's a year later, or it's 13 years later when YouTube by some crazy miracle is still going, share that message onward, you know, pay it forward, and remind someone that, you know, with what little they have, they can do something that they love, do something that might inspire someone. This is what we share. This is the spark that we have. So thanks for being human with me.